Hey, could you lead us in a pledge, please, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Look good to me, boss.
Minutes, does everybody agree?
I
John?
looked over them. They're fine.
Good, John? Harry, you good?
Yep.
All right, minutes are approved. Visitors' comments. In general, if anybody has anything to speak about, need to make sure you state your name and address for the record. And right now, if something's not on the agenda, you can talk about it right now. If you can't do anything about it, we can talk about it. First item, discuss and consider request for public hearing to rezone a 3-acre portion of a 14-acre lot 2 of Plantation Village, Section 13 of the Family Life Church site at 220 Lake Road from B3 institutional to B1 neighborhood business.
That's me.
I'm Craig Taylor. I'm the senior lead pastor of the church, and so I've been designated to be here.
Lucky you.
Lucky me. Yeah, we are going to, we have under contract now as of yesterday, 3-acre portion we need rezoned. Obviously, you just stated to be one. Since we started the process and Chris met with Sal and the people that were there that day, we have a contract as of yesterday, contingent upon rezoning, of course, with Mark Monacle to expand the office park from the on the southern side of the ditch from us onto this 3-acre parcel. And contingent upon the rezoning, and looks like a good deal at this point. So we're a little further along than we were when we first sat down and talked with Sal, so.
Sal, anything?
No, Pastor did call me yesterday and made me aware of the situation that was happening at the time. I told him that gave him a copy of my memo to you concerning what I presented to you, and also give him an idea. Also explain to him something on a future requirement that we really don't need to talk about it. It's going to have to be drainage.
Right.
And
I read
but
that.
I needed to make him aware that that was going to become an issue, so he could put to his client so that he is fully aware. It goes out with eyes open into this deal, and fully knowing that there's going to be a requirement that originally was not imposed on the first phase of the church development. At that time, it wasn't a requirement. Since then, a requirement on drainage became a factor, on detainage became a factor, and that came from Alaska Drainage District, which we adopted and we respect.
John?
Got no questions, no problem with having a hearing.
Harry?
Is the outline portion of the 3 acres?
Pardon?
No,
No, that's a full tract.
That's
that's the full
yeah.
track.
That's the full tract.
Yes.
The 3 acres is the corner, you call it if you're looking at north up, it'd be the
South and west.
southwest corner of that.
Okay, pointed out over there. Within their area, okay. And the office buildings they have are right south beyond that drainage.
Yes, sir.
The office park
Or
that
easement.
Mr. Monaco owns is that small triangle there on the lower part of that ditch.
But this doesn't have to be platted, or is that a future
Oh,
thing?
yes, it would have to go through the whole process.
Okay,
yes,
all right, so
planning
this is just the
process.
first step.
This is the first
Okay.
step, rezoning.
Very good, thank you.
Okay.
Yes. What I can ask is that, what is the general purpose of what you're doing, so you can explain it to me? Because I'm not sure I completely understand.
Right. Well, we bought the property back in 92,
92.
14 acres. Of course, built back 99, 2000. Last time I was here, 99, with the architect that night with the building proposal. And he was supposed to make the presentation that night. I was thinking, that was the night that Bill was sitting here, and right before us on the agenda was a bingo hall in downtown and next to a church. And they brought 25 people with them that night, so I had to sit here through about 30 minutes of hearing the evils of bingo out of the church population. And then the lady, which I knew well, that wanted to open the bingo hall, she shared. And then my architect hit me and said, I'm not going now, you're going to have to make the presentation. I'm like, great. So I stood up, and first question out of Bill's mouth was, well, Pastor, since you're here, what are your thoughts about biblically and bingo? And I'm like, well, my thoughts are if they tithe on their winnings, then I'm all for it. And the meeting was over, and away we were. So here we are 20 years later. We're at a position now to where we are with the sale of this property, to go debt-free on the present facility and completely pay that off, with leaving enough for us to expand both north and south in the future. And so that is the bottom line. We would like to go debt-free and get that done. The board of the church has approved it, and the church is excited about doing it. And before we even got the sign up in the yard, it was under contract. So it should be a blessing. It looks good at this point, and we'll see what happens from here.
That part of the land wasn't it part of your master plan?
Part of our master plan, but when we had a master plan then, things change in 20 years as far as what
Oh,
we think we need
absolutely.
facilities-wise. We built a sanctuary that'll seat 1,200, so it's more than adequate. We just need additional education facilities in the future, and we feel like we've got plenty of land to do that,
Right.
as well as we've had a number of offers over the years, usually on all 6 acres, and for a lot less money than this, so I just sat on it, and here we are 20 years later, and sort of speaks for itself and what we can do financially to help the church and continue to expand in the future.
Right.
Anything else, Kay?
Yeah.
Matt,
I'm good.
do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we request a public hearing for for a rezone of 3 acres portion of 14 acres, Lot 2 of Plantation Village, Section 13 of the Family Life Church site at 220 Lake Road, from B3 to B1.
And I second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Craig.
Thank you so much for your time.
Pastor, we have we will be starting the advertisement process, putting it through the paper, the public notice to the residents within, and the business owners within 200 foot of the property.
Next
Did you know
item.
EJ? Did you know EJ Miranda?
Yes, very well. That was it.
That was my brother.
Now he knows.
I miss it.
Next item, discuss and consider administrative and final review of Gateway Apartment Site Plan Amendment to the renovation and upgrade project at 111 Loganberry Street, filed on August the 2nd, 2022.
Do we have,
Y'all start this meeting before I got here?
We're sorry. We apologize, Doug.
Oh, hi, my name's Miguel with Baker and Lawson Engineers, and there's 2 items on the agenda, one for site plan and landscape plan, and there's a lot of things going on site plan. I actually wrote some notes of what's changed from what was originally passed in 1998 to what we're presenting now. Just to give some history, last year a company called Fairstead asked Baker and Lawson do a site assessment on the property, look at the pavement, the storm, the sanitary, the water, and then check for compliance with what was out there compared to the approved site and landscape plan. Just to give some of the key highlights we observed, we've noticed that a lot of the handicap ramps out there were just not in compliance with ADA. Some of the slopes were too large. There was no landing ramps on some of those ramps. Another item we noticed is that in terms of parking count, the 98 site plan required 400 spaces. There was 300 and I know it's somewhere on there. There's 380.
368, no, that's bedroom.
somewhere up here. There was less spaces than what was presented on the plan. Let's see.
407 to 400 flat.
It's here on the note. There was 383 spaces on the site when there should have been 400. What we did on this proposed site plan is we reworked the striping in the parking lot. We added some more paved areas for parking. But we got the count back to 400. In terms of parking count, one thing that we did do is 2 of the spaces are going to be for electric vehicle charging. And there are garages on the site. One of those garages is going to be converted to become handicap accessible. So that takes care of the spaces. In terms of other changes we are doing, can you zoom out at this in the back to the site plan? Building 6 and building 7 here are all the buildings are going to be rehabbed, but 6 and 7 are going to be rehabbed to include handicap accessible units and hearing and
Audio.
audio modified. One thing that we wanted to do, since these buildings are going to have these designations, is for the entire site plan we're adding sidewalk to make a handicap accessible route from all those buildings to all the amenities on the site. We are changing, and this is the last thing on the site plan that I wrote, we are changing the amenities. We are adding a barbecue patio here. If you go towards more of the center of we are adding another barbecue patio here. The pool is going to stay the same. We're adding a gardening area for the residents. And we did move the dog park. The dog park used to be over here, and now we're moving it over here. And we're adding sidewalks to access that park. Let me just make sure I got everything. I think the last thing I have is there's several dumpster enclosures on the site. The owner is going to rehab all those dumpster enclosures to be brick screening rather than the wood screening. There is one dumpster closure here that's by building 11 that's also going to have a backup generator on it for building 11. If you had any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but
John?
On the parking, I was just curious, those EV spaces, are they included in the open parking spaces?
correct, they're included with the 400.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know, because you get 402, and I figured those were,
Added on? No.
they were added on.
That part,
It's
of the whole
part of the whole thing. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see, and the huge increase in the handicap spots, which I understand that's due to just a change in the requirements that,
So in the older site plan, there was proposed to have 8 handicap spaces. When we went out to the site, I can't explain it, but there was roughly 16 handicap spaces out there. We decided to stick with what was out there, and we kept the same number. We didn't want to reduce down from what we had perceived.
okay. That's it.
Harry?
During this upgrade for the handicap, is there a procedure to notify the fire department so that they have an extra vigilance there if there's an emergency?
I don't believe there is one.
Pardon?
I don't believe there is one with a
I would think that would be
Excuse me?
I think that would be a good idea if they know what they're dealing with.
Well, then that would be a citywide condition that we would then impose, or we would.
What is it,
require.
211? There's a state number to register particular places that are for people. I know when my wife was near end of life, we had a registration through the state, so they told us if we had a hurricane, she was gonna get the first ambulance, so.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, we do have that process or procedure here during an emergency event, as far as notification of people that require some assistance, in the city. Mr. Mundo?
The city works with the state. Each city is mandated to contact or post and keep a list of residents that need assistance for busing out, and it's called a steer list. So we maintain that, and we go through that every either April or May and contact those families who have signed up to make sure that they have transportation, or if need. If they don't, then we provide that transportation in a time that we call for evacuation of the city. So each city is required by law to do that.
okay. But I guess the resident would have to register typically.
Yes, it's responsibility either the resident
Right.
or their family to get in contact. So we try to advertise it, to get it out, or work with the churches to get that word out. Is it 100% no?
Right.
But once they are on the list, then we check on them manually.
I don't know if you can talk to the apartment owner and just make them aware of that, because I would think that'd be a key spot. The fire truck has to go the furthest if they're having a problem and they need the most help. So I know we can't require that, but just some knowledge. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Let's talk for a minute about your frontage on Plantation Drive.
Yes, up here.
Okay, you have a small exposure there. However, you have many entrances and exits on Plantation that go to both Buc-ee's and the new subdivisions that are coming in at this time. Do you have a plan for any kind of moving your residents, which way they go?
Is this specific to the emergency response for the side or
I think it
changing the
is,
driveways?
yes.
Okay.
It's, the reason why is because that is a small area between those two properties, and then you're back there. So, you know, in the event of some type of evacuation, I think it would merit us talking about it.
Okay. I do not have a comment for that. But
Okay.
you know, we're not proposing any changes to the driveways on the site.
I see.
You know, we do have like stone columns and fencing around the perimeter. So, you know, if we were to move a driveway or entrance, it would, to me, I think it'd be pretty invasive, but
No, I'm not
that's just-
saying to be invasive
yeah.
and change the driveway. It would just be about future planning in the event, as we were talking about people moving around when they might need additional help.
It is interesting, the number of accesses you do have, and I think the city only requires one, I think. And I thought two was for over 250 units. Is that not right? Anyway, you've got three, so I think that's a positive thing as far as anticipating that.
In terms of access on the site, one thing we did identify was right here in the middle of the property. There was a median here with a landscape area, and the road on both sides of that median were about 14 and 15 foot in width. The contractor is going to go and widen those both to 20 foot wide on each side just for the fire compliance. So,
That's very good.
because that does, by doing this, it gives the fire truck an ability to go through here and then go through the third entrance, you know, without having such a narrow path to go.
Anything else, Kay?
Yeah.
Matt?
No. What about you, Locke?
I'm good. Sal, you got anything to add?
No, we,
Looks good.
this particular
Yeah,
Excuse me?
Yes, looks good.
Yeah, this particular, this site, really meets all the criteria that we have concerning any type of, site plan. It meets all the conditions. They are improving, or at least meeting the original that was approved. So we don't have any issues at all with the approval of this, plan.
Do we have a motion?
Sure, I'd move to approve the administrative and final review of Gateway Apartments site plan amendment for the renovation and upgrade project at 111 Loganberry Street, filed on August 2nd, 2022.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's move on to the landscape on the same property.
Okay. So, this is probably one of the most extensive landscape plans I had to do because there's just a lot of trees on the property. Just to summarize, in 1998, they called out for 373 trees to be protected, while 72 were required. When we did our lot count, and this was back in August of 2021, we counted 371. With our new site plan, we did do a new landscape calculation for the area. We're estimating the landscape area to be 51% of the property, which does meet city requirements. To be honest, I know we have a landscape area provided in our plans compared to the 1998. I think there was some discrepancies on the calculation, but I just want to state we're still meeting the minimums. The owner, there's just over 300 trees on the site. They want to propose not adding any more trees. We are going to add some shrubbery around the pool and on the entrances of all the buildings, but that's not depicted in this landscape plan. That's kind of a accessory thing that the landscaper's gonna do.
Are the 72 trees specified? Yeah, those.
72 is the minimum
The
required.
one that are required, do you have those identified?
We have identified every tree
I
on
knew
this
that,
site
but
plan.
those 72, so that if you lose one of those,
Okay.
I'm amazed that you had 72 at the beginning and you ended up with 72.
So I will say this: the 1998 copy of the landscape plan is almost illegible. So it would take some kind of forensics to figure out which of the 72 trees were identified.
Required amount. That's just a required amount.
These are not required. These are the ones that were provided. So they are matching, they're just keeping up with what's actually out there. The required is 70,
Right, 72.
72.
Okay.
They identified 371 trees on the
Correct,
survey,
yeah,
so
identified 371 trees. So
there are only
at
299
the
up.
time, we didn't have any requirement on
Yeah.
protected trees.
Okay.
Only required.
It's amazing it stayed. We've had so many trees fall that you're that close to the count
It
where you
is-
started.
It is
So
surprising,
Yeah.
yeah, that's when we asked them to, to rerun that one, to give us an updated plan, I was expecting a lot more loss. Something else in addition to this one, even though it's not indicated there, one of the requirements back then was that infamous, green belt to be natural landscape buffer between that and the neighborhood there.
yes,
Which really never, it started as one and then became a problem.
yes.
Overgrown nuisance they had to clean out.
That's right,
I remember that.
correct. So, some of that green belt is not really a green belt anymore, but it is still part of the buffer because it lies between the, actual fence line and the property, and private properties.
Anything else? else, sir? John?
Yeah, I mean, you have 5 times the amount of trees required and roughly 6 times the amount of landscaped area required. It's hard to argue with those numbers. We've had more projects like that, so.
Yeah,
I
it's like
don't
you
have
could
any.
apply that to some other
I don't have
projects
any
they're part
issues.
of almost. Oh, man.
Okay.
And this guy's from New York and he
It's
got
gonna
it
go
right.
that direction.
Different engineers here, a young engineer and an old engineer.
Oh,
He called you old.
I am old.
Oh, you're gorgeous.
No, that's
Gonna
it.
make his
Yeah,
head big.
it's good. Like it.
Okay.
Yes, no, I'm fine.
Matt,
I agree.
I'm good.
we got a motion?
I make a motion that we approve for administrative and final review of the Gateway Apartments landscape plan amendment for the renovation and upgrade project at 111 Logan Berry Street, filed on August 2nd, 2022.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Amen.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Miguel.
Good job.
You guys stick around and watch how we treat him for the next one.
He takes over for me,
I like him.
and I'm not, he's a good kid.
I like him.
Where does he live?
He lives at Baker and Lawson. He doesn't,
You pay per dim at that right then?
he's got kids, so I can't.
We all do.
Next item, discuss and consider administrative and final review the residents at Lakewood Manor amended site and landscape plans for minor adjustments to parking and landscaping within the PUD plan conditions filed on August the 2nd, 2022.
Doug Raisler with Baker and Lawson. That was my protege, by the way.
He did great,
I'm trying to retire in 2 years.
I
I'm
bet.
pumping him up. He does pretty good though, doesn't
He does really good.
He does.
he? He's very confident. He's getting
good.
better
His vo-
every year.
Once we get the loud voice that you have, he'll be good.
Do I need to back away?
No, I mean, you and me the
Oh,
same.
okay, all right. Oh, where's the pointer? Let me, and I'll let Sal jump in a little bit. What's happened? Thelson, can you zoom in that area there? Thelson's good with his computer. I can't even do what a Thelson does. It's bad. When we did our tree survey a long time ago, we did not, our crews didn't realize this was in our property, and so they didn't tie them in. So there's 4 trees here that are, I think they're basically 36-inch diameter, okay? And so when we got into construction, the contractor says, whoa, we got trees in the way. This building right here was back over here somewhere. And we had 3 parking spaces right there. And so we said, no, we don't want to take those trees out, they're nice, okay? So we shoved, and this building, when it was back here, had 2 credited parking spaces in front of it, okay? And we had 3 spaces here. So we pushed this building forward to save these trees, and we lost those parking spaces. We had these parking spaces here. We added 2 more in that area, but we were still short 3. So in another area along Weesatch, we added 5 spaces that back out onto Weesatch. I think that they'll see me can zoom out.
Right there at the Pond Lane corner.
It was right in this area
Oh,
here.
down here.
No, it's right there. Yeah, whoop, it's not there. Oh, it's these right here. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
those guys right
Those
there,
right
yeah.
there. So
Those are new.
our count, which I thought we had over, me being 68 years old, my count wasn't right.
Here we go.
So we were exactly
Here we
right.
go.
That's why this kid's
Here we
coming
go.
on
We
always
board,
have to
right?
talk about age, don't we?
And so we were exactly right, but we lost 5. We found 2. And then we added these 5 right here. So we have an excess now.
So we're down 3 overall.
We're up 3.
We're up 3 overall.
Up 3. We're 3 more than we need,
No, 'cause 2,
okay?
yeah.
Down to
And so
22.
the whole purpose of this is we're just kind of rearranging parking to stay right,
Well-
okay? And save 4 nice trees, basically. And that's what it's all about. Because if you drive to Fern Court, they are nice trees.
Yeah,
I'm
they are.
shocked, so.
Another thing, just you probably forgot, is that I asked them to, originally they had set aside another tree as a credit tree.
Okay, this one right here, okay. That one, see those 2 little parking spaces right there? We had this as a credited tree. And the contractor says, man, that's real close to these parking spaces. We think if we dig that out, we're gonna lose it. So we took that off as accredited, and we put one, go back to Fern at Thelson. Thelson, you're so good. We put this one right here replaced it as the accredited tree. But we still have, I don't know, 4 or 5 trees that are out there that are not, we're keeping, but they're not accredited, that we can go to eventually. So that's what this is about. This is a plan unit development, and you're not supposed to change anything, but all we did was move that building a little bit forward and rearrange parking and change accredited trees from there to here, and that's it.
So on the Fern Court, would that be a concern of having street parking, people pushing into the street then at that point?
Well, we have no parking over here.
Oh, I know. But if we took away those 3 spots that used to be there for that establishment there in number 2 setup, I believe.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Would we have a
we added
concern?
2 over here. We lost 5, so we lost 3.
But I mean,
Yeah.
we all know no matter where the sidewalk is, if there's a faster route to walk, people are going to walk through the grass.
Correct.
I'm concerned would be with these guys disappearing, what's going to happen with street parking? People are going to decide to street park here while they can walk here.
Well, okay. And is that, I thought that was your, I thought that was your
we're
red button. It was
looking.
mine. Sorry. We had, this drive comes out right here. And this drive comes out. So there's no parking right there. These people do park right around there.
Yeah, I know the homeowners do, and I know the
Oh,
cul-de-sac.
you're afraid that.
I'm
well,
afraid
I
the
can't.
occupants from number 2 would
Yeah,
be, say, hey man, I don't want to walk here. I'm gonna tell them park right here. Tell my
Yeah.
buddies to park right there. I didn't know if there would be required if we could put any kind of.
Okay.
park
I,
restrict- yeah.
I can inform the developer.
Just an idea.
Hey,
This way they're not getting plowed by fire trucks.
yes, sir. So that's the story.
Party on, Wayne.
John?
No, I think it's great that you made the effort to save those trees. I actually had the same concern that Matt had, and I was almost afraid to ask it. 'Cause
No, I don't want to lose the trees. I'm just that the idea would be to, I know we'd have bigger concerns in life about than cars parked in the wrong spot, but
Right.
that one being the island location of the rest of the development, if they had the issue in life of having to need EMS or fire department,
Exactly.
and you got one
Yeah.
jackwagon with his truck parked there,
Yeah.
and stuff happens. Don't get me
I-
wrong. I've been there, done that, but through the years of living, I've realized that parking in the right spot is a kind of a big concern nowadays.
Yes, sir.
And I would be fearful of losing those spots that people would be, oh, man, I can just park right here. I see the homeowners who parking here. Well, homeowner has a fire truck pull up to his curbside. He can spray the water.
Yeah.
We don't have a fire truck pulling up to building 8 over there because we have a jack wagon parked at the entry point and our 44-foot truck can't pull in.
Well, I can see him. Hey, I don't know how to govern that.
No, I just,
But I can see them
that was my
there.
only
They
concern
have a
about it.
trash compactor. I can see them parking in front of that trash compactor
Yeah.
because they only, I don't know when the city dumps it every 2 weeks, so there's
Yeah.
a spot there.
There's a
you know.
spot there, yeah.
And you know, hey, if you got those dualies and, man, that's a nice spot there.
Yeah, and it's not.
So,
I'm not against. I mean, I'm all about the trees. Just same with John.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that came into my mind. I was like, man,
Yeah.
They haven't met our public works director.
Well, we surveyed it and they didn't pick it up. We had an arborist come in. He didn't say anything about it. And I walked over there and I designed it. And those trees were there. I mean, it's not like I'm blind, but they're not on the drawing. That's all.
Miguel do it.
Yeah, the damn young kid, sorry, I didn't say damn, did I?
No, you didn't.
And you said each one was 36 inches?
Well, they're about that
About that.
big.
That's
I
nice.
don't,
Yeah,
I
right
mean,
on.
they are nice.
That apartment right there at building section 2, that guy right there is going to have the bee's knees when it comes to shade on his AC
Oh, yeah?
bill.
Yeah. So. But, and I was happy that the developer would allow it, he said, oh, go tear them down. Because they weren't accredited. I mean, we could have gone there and tore them down. Y'all wouldn't have known, I mean.
Our
the
friend that
neighbor-
owns all those
I bet
apartments
those
there
neighbors
would've
would have called.
known. Yeah, our friend that owns all those spots right there, she would have known.
Okay, but anyway, so it's
Your-
it's
your
a
little
good,
rec-
it's a good deal, excuse
Your
me.
rectangle near the trees, that's not a trash?
Well, oh, the
What is
rectangle, that's, we're preserving that
No, the
tree.
rectangle,
That
That's
right
his
there,
Trash compactor.
that is the trash compactor.
okay. And our trucks have to get next, I don't know how the trash compactor works versus our trucks.
Well, I say we, I wasn't there, but the previous project manager met with city people and the truck driver
They said
about
that's-
how they could get in there and get it out, and,
Okay,
and they were happy with it.
all right,
Oh, I don't say they're happy with it, but they said they could make it work.
yeah, that's amazing with that little triangle there.
And that's not the size of the trash compactor, that's just the space.
Okay, okay.
But it's, you know,
Anything else, Harry? John, you, okay?
No, thank you.
Matt?
Anything from you, Locke?
No. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to accept.
You have to read it out. You gotta read everything under the black line.
Are you kidding?
No, ma'am, I'm
Okay.
not. Gotta make it official.
Discuss and consider administrative and final review of the residences at Lakewood Manor, amended site and landscape plans for minor adjustments to parking and landscaping within the PUD plan conditions filed on August the 2nd, 2022.
and
think that's-
seconded by Doug Racer.
I think that's the best anyone's done.
Well, they put me on the spot.
You volunteered.
Kay, you did
Let's
good.
pick the new girl, okay?
Volunteered.
What could go wrong?
all right.
I didn't know you had to do that.
Kay, let me tell you this. Sal called and says, Doug, you need to update your signatures on the plat.
Yeah.
And Angela, our receptionist, got an old one. And she brought it in and she says, here, this is what we need to put on the drawings. And you weren't on there. And all of a sudden, somebody says, what happened to Kay? She was only at one meeting. She quit?
What do you mean, fellas?
But she
I
had.
mean, I feel like other than Sally, I'm here completely alone.
Well, but she pulled up an old one, and it was no, Kay's still there.
Yeah,
so you're
no.
good to go. You can sign.
I'm not a shrinking violet, I can tell you. I've never made it this far.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, Doug.
Do I have another one? We don't have landscape or anything?
Oh,
Hold
yes,
it.
you do. You-
This is it, yeah.
This is next,
Okay.
yeah.
No, that was site and landscape.
Okay, now he's
Yeah,
just
this
running
is
this
not
out.
landscape.
That was
Okay, it was
both.
good. Okay. Oh, all right.
But the next one, I don't know, what are you gonna be handling for?
Well, I'm here. I don't know. Might as well.
Charge them all you can, boys.
All right, next item, discuss and consider administrative review of Harmony Park Townhomes at 401 Garland Drive.
I have my client over here I've never met. Thought I'd mention.
This is how your clients show up too, man. Look at this.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't deal with anybody. I didn't. So maybe I shouldn't be up here.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I think you need to come. All I did as representing the Glasgow Drainage District, we approved the drainage because of Elston.
Don't make me call Corey LaChance and get that changed.
Get him, let me get him back in.
Derek
I'll
Lacasse.
sit by this scout and show him how many.
Hey, good man.
Aw,
This is where I
There's
get-
two in here then.
cool.
Go ahead,
3?
Eric.
Good man.
Yes,
I'm
Der-
not
Derek
one.
Lacaz here, site owner. Basically, we just had to do come through and do a replat, do lot lines for every single townhouse unit. They won't be individually sold or anything. They'll be owned as one company. Won't be selling them as individual single-family homes or anything. But this was a requirement, and so hired Baker and Lawson to do the replat for us.
And
So they're all leases?
They're all going to be, leased.
This is the last step in the process that, like I said, started a long time ago now. They finally came through and, because they want to start actual construction, I think they had a hard time during the COVID situation and getting all these ones.
Had a hard time finding someone to replat it for us. Everyone's backed up months. Yeah.
So, this is the last step. From here on, the plans, the building official will then release the actual permit plans for construction, so they can go out and do that project that's taking so long. And the only item there was, that I originally brought up was, the fact that this is now separated into actual units that are typical of what we got everywhere where we have townhouses. Yes, at this time, Mr. Lacaze is saying that, these are for rental. Possibility is in the future, and you need to be aware of that could very well change. Not that it's, that you can do anything about that, but that's what now the planning does that.
John?
I'm good.
Do you mean
Harry?
that could be sold in the future?
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly that I understood. That means they could be sold in the future?
Could very well happen.
We'd have to come back through another process of getting it replatted again, right? Or rezoned. Because right now it's not zoned to be able to sell them individually.
Right now, it's rezoned,
For B1?
rezoned as a townhouse.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
a townhouse, that can be,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
could be
okay.
done.
that can be sold. You don't have to come back to us.
Well, I don't think some affordable single-family house in Lake Jackson would hurt anyone either, though. So
Of course not.
we plan on keeping them in house for at least 8 to 10 years minimum.
My concern at that point would be, if it's individually owned, what is the upkeep and maintenance?
If we ever decide to sell, it'll be to another investor that buys the whole thing. We're not going to go the single-family route. We got another property by Bucky's
Yeah.
that we're going to do that with.
Where?
288B and Old Anderson Road by that Bucky's.
Yeah.
4-acre
Which
tract.
one? Number two?
It's right past
Number two.
the old by the old bowling alley, right
Old
past
bowling
the
alley.
Number
Regal
two.
Storage, I think.
It's number two. Yeah. You're gonna do that there also?
Single family though,
Yep.
Rather than-
Single family.
rather than
Sell-offs.
where we own them all.
Need an engineer?
There's no soliciting allowed in the meeting, sir?
That was funny.
A
Okay,
good one, yes.
as long as it's always maintained,
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. It'd be the prettiest thing on that street for sure.
well, I'll say.
Matt?
And that was my concern from the get. That was my concern with our other one too, was them being sold off down the road. But there's nothing that we can do about it now at this point.
Well, it may happen one day, but I'm young and I don't plan on doing it anytime soon.
Touche.
Is that a rub saying that you're young?
Yeah.
Pretty young guy, 31. Hey.
This is your development?
Yes, sir.
Good for you.
Yes, it's his development.
All right, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I move to approve the administrative review and action of Harmony Park Townhomes plat at 401 Garland Drive.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any more discussion?
Yeah.
All in favor?
I
Opposed?
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Derek.
bet.
I was gonna spend the night in Angleton, but now y'all are so good. I may drive to College Station.
I'm still waiting for that steak.
And I haven't, every time I come here,
I'm just
I think
saying.
you should bring one to
Ivy Court's where my house is at, so.
I feel guilty because I feel like maybe I'm buying a
Oh, no.
No, I haven't got the steak yet.
I'll leave
Now
it
after the
outside.
steak, that's
Throw them on
different.
the table and we'll eat it. Of
We'll do it.
Hey,
Yeah.
I always enjoy y'all.
Be safe, my friend.
course.
Thank you, Doug.
Bye-bye.
All right, items of community interest. John?
Tell you what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass that little tidbit about the trees, so hold on to Susan next time I see her.
She'll like
I
that.
think she will like that, she'll
Of
appreciate that.
course. And she can go out and go look at them and they're staying.
Yeah. I might even take some pictures and bring them to her.
There you go.
Anyways, with regard to the Lake Jackson Historical Association, we have a grand opening set for the Alden B. Dow Office Building Museum, September 9th and 10th. It's a Friday and a Saturday. So hope you guys find some time to come down and just take a look at it real quick. So there'll be a lot of information, coming out on social media and whatnot about it, so.
That's soon. It's August now.
I know.
Gotta plan ahead.
That's right. That's it.
They have a new program, I think it's the third Thursday at noon every month. Something to chew on.
Chew on, something to chew on, yeah.
I went to the first one. Those are gonna be interesting.
Yep.
Learning local history and eating a sandwich.
Did you enjoy that one?
Yes, yeah,
Cool.
that's all I have.
Sal, is there any rules about metal buildings in Lake Jackson?
No.
You know what I'm
As
talking
long
about?
as you meet all the fire requirements, metal buildings are,
Guitar. The Guitar Center.
the state made it sure, made it very plain that the cities weren't gonna be regulating materials, colors, or anything.
How'd that play out in Sugar Land?
Because they got in before the state.
Ah, what was I say, man? Taco Bell's never been that color anywhere else besides Sugar Land.
Okay,
Well, I do know this, Family Fitness does sit on 3.5 acres. And the .89 that is next to me has been for sale for a long time. And I think that at the point that maybe one day I and we, want to move that, I think it would be an incredible North Lake Jackson location for, my mind runs rampant about, a fire station up there, anything that we could think of, to do eventually when it's time for me to stop dancing. So I do look at that now. The corporate office will stay where it is. However, eventually I'm gonna have to hang up the dancing shoes.
Okay.
30 years.
Would you give the city a good deal on that property?
I would.
I mean, because
It's all
we're kind of
write-off.
poor.
It's all a write-off, of course,
Right off.
for me,
God bless.
a donation.
Well, I didn't say give it to us. Just a good deal. Just a good deal. That's all we're
honey,
asking.
I wasn't gonna give it to you.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
Matt?
Well, we have a young man here. He hasn't got to speak yet. I'm curious what's going on with this young man.
I'm just here for a scout merit badge that I'm trying to complete.
No, come
Well,
up and
come tell us
speak
about
to
it at
us.
least. I'd like to hear
Yes.
about it if you don't mind.
Of course.
You wear proud colors and I
Give us
respect
your
them.
name, dear.
I'm Mark Sargent, Harry Sargent's grandson.
Oh.
He's got a hook.
Oh!
He's got a hook.
How did I get hooked so quick?
And, well, I'm just here today. I'm working on my citizenship and the community merit badge to hopefully get my Eagle pretty soon, because I have my life right now.
Good man.
I'm trying to decide on my Eagle project, and hopefully should have that done by the end of either this year or next year.
Come by my shop whenever it's time to put together materials. I'll help you out. We'll make you
Come
earn
by
it.
Family Fitness, and I'll have
I know
you
the
get
procedure.
people
I-
out
I have some
parking
I have some good jobs you can do. They'll work just fine.
Me and my buddy actually work out at Family Fitness
Oh.
sometimes,
Bless you.
but I'll make sure to make a note of that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very well.
Yeah, come up. I have interns that come all the time.
Thank you.
Just have to do something that helps people.
Oh, thank you.
That's it. Good to see you, son.
Thank you and good luck.
Yep, good luck.
Yeah.
Anything else, Matt?
Besides the stoplights, the bumps, and everything else, no. I'm good. How about you, Law? That's my new thing now, by the way.
I picked up on that. Milford, what you got?
I have nothing of note.
Oh, man. That's your homework for next time.
Give me something.
Yeah.
No,
Something.
it's kind of good because you have nothing of note. So therefore,
I mean, the city's calm.
free to go. The city is calm today.
What about this dangerous man over here who's been quiet all evening?
Oh, my goodness.
We'll work our way
Who's
around
that?
Oh,
Renee?
okay.
He's a man with the updates.
Vinay, you have anything to, Modesto? What news happening in the city? Anything?
Nothing new from last time.
Nothing we're privileged knowing.
Restaurants have opened up, Manor is open. The chicken salad place is
Have
open.
you been, Vinay, to La Madeleine?
Yes,
Yeah, I think, I love those. They're great.
and, more to come, the deli place will be opening up soon.
McGaller's.
Harbor Freight opened. Harbor Freight.
Look, there's so many people in the parking lot of Harbor Freight. It's constant. Big trucks, small trucks, lots of
stop right
trucks,
there.
lots of guys.
Yeah, the mayor was saying he's visiting with the people there, that they may have to add some more people on their payroll, because it doesn't stay that good, so.
That's amazing.
Sabrina?
I was just joking about the stoplights. I was just joking.
Oh.
All right, Eddie, the floor is yours.
Go ahead, Eddie. Make him aware.
Make them aware. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Hey, no, it's actually not that bad. There's not a lot going on. Kroger making the streets muddy, the little site over in Clute, and so I've been over there chasing their trucks around and stuff, getting to clean the street. Downtown, is moving ahead, not as fast as the contractor expected, but it is moving ahead. We're still waiting to get a final reevaluation of their timeline from them, to see where they're going. That's it, man. Everything kind of stalled for the moment. We don't have a bunch of new stuff coming in. There's not a lot of new interest. Doug's job over on WeSatch keeps me kind of busy. They're doing a lot of improvement on the streets and drainage and sidewalks and everything else. And the villas, Joe's not here, but the villas is stalling out again, and David's been working with them to try to figure out how, what it is that's stalling them out, how they can get moving faster, but, unfortunately, it's private construction, there's not a lot we can do. You guys have any questions on any of the construction that you've seen, or there's a lot of water leaks?
Yeah,
All over
yeah.
the
My
place.
man, we had a flower the other day over there in Flag Ridge, right off Plantation.
Yeah.
I go that way every morning to work, and I saw that. I was like, man, I felt bad for you.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore, don't feel bad for me.
Yeah, but those guys still come back to you and B&M, I imagine.
Thank you, Eddie.
You're a good man.
Ms. Elston? Elston? You don't have to worry about too much rain, water nowadays, do you?
No.
Hey, say it a couple more times. We need it. I'll do the dance with you.
Well, you have to go wash your car, and then it comes.
Everybody comes, I never had this rainfall ever.
That'd be a good time to do all your wetland evaluations.
Oh,
Oh, we got one.
Sal?
no, nothing.
Anna?
No, sir.
When's our next?
The next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, September 7th.
Everybody check their calendar. How are we on? That's
It's
different.
after Labor Day, so it's probably a Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday, okay, I had that wrong.
I'm ready to rock.
And roll.
My daily routine.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Matt, you're good? Kay, you're good?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. We got things to sign. Meeting's adjourned. Thank y'all.
Thank you. There are 3 copies of the Gateway